Good evening. I'd like to call the Monday, July 12th, 2021 District Board of Directors meeting to order. Angie, can I get a roll call, please?
Betty Brusky-Malik.
Yes.
Kristen Krass.
Here.
Richard Murden.
Present.
Linnea Miller.
Here.
Charles Spargo.
Here.
Open meeting certification. This July 12th, 2021 meeting of the Mid-State Technical College District Board of Directors and all other meetings of the board and/or its committees is open to the public in compliance with state statutes. Notice of this meeting has been sent to the news media and designated persons in an attempt to make the citizens of the Mid-State Technical College District aware of the place, time, and agenda of the meeting. Open forum. This open forum is at the option of the board chairperson, and ground rules have been established to ensure the orderly conduct of business. This meeting is open. This is a meeting of the district board open to the public and not a public hearing. Persons who wish to address the district board may make a statement as long as it pertains to the specific agenda item. Individuals should not expect to engage in discussion with the members of the district board. The district board chairperson may or may not respond to statements made. Do we have anybody here? We do not. Need to take action on the June 21st, 2021 board meeting minutes. Can I get an approval?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Before we take action on the consent agenda items, can I ask Greg Buckbauer to come up and talk to us about the procurement of goods, to provide us an update?
Thank you. I want to provide a little update on the Marshfield parking lot and motorcycle track that was approved at the capital budget meeting from the board back in the March timeframe, the March 2021 board meeting, and also the approval of Sunrise Trucking Award of that Marshfield parking lot on the May 17th meeting. Originally, the parking lot was planned for bringing more traffic through our front doors of the Marshfield campus. And then we thought, well, we'll add on to that the Marshfield motorcycle track to provide the motorcycle training at the Marshfield campus. As we went through the development process and reviewed with the Wisconsin Motorcycle Safety Program, I don't know if it's an agency or a group, we had found that our runoff for that parking lot and the motorcycle track did not meet their standards. We had the street that was too close to the runoff area, as well as the building. The WTCS system had a 20-foot runoff. The Wisconsin Motorcycle Safety Program Agency had doubled that. When we doubled that, it became too close to the building and too close to the street. So we want to modify the plan to have just the parking lot to still drive traffic through our front doors. However, we had then moved the motorcycle training to our original parking lot that we have there by doing some upgrades to the parking lot, some patch and fixes to that parking area, removing some possible lighting in the middle of the parking lot and push them off to the sides, so it will allow more than adequate area for the motorcycle training. The Marquee will still stay that we had asked for to go into that area. The parking lot will have a little more green space. It won't be all parking lot. We'll have some green space out front and then some additional parking spots in the front of the building. So that's a little update that we're looking at doing. We are researching the costs. We're looking for credits from Sunrise Trucking that we've already had awarded the contract to, or the bid to, I should say. And then if everything comes through correctly from Sunrise, we would move forward with Sunrise at providing more green space up front, still have a parking place for visitors and individuals that come through the front doors, and then have the updated parking lot that we currently own upgraded to a motorcycle safety course.
Greg, when you say if everything comes through correctly, you mean to your satisfaction?
To our satisfaction, yes,
Did
the
they
pricing,
reduce the
yes.
cost enough?
That is correct. We want them to reduce the costs to be more adequately aligned with repairs of a parking lot, not to a new parking lot. Yes, thank you, Chuck, for the clarifying. Any other questions?
I appreciate you bringing it up, Greg, because I know in that procurement for goods and services, you're going to see the Marshfield Marquee on the document. So I appreciate that you wanted to tell them the full scope, how it's changed a little bit, because it has changed. And thank goodness our staff, I mean, working with the WTCS, meeting the guideline that they had, but it was really one of our people in our academic team who just kind of looked at this and said, you know, it just seems like it's close to the road and close to the building, which made the team investigate more. And I think you were about 2 days before shovel in the ground, is that right?
Actually, I think
Oh.
it was less than that. We were,
Okay. So
we
that
were
was-
real close to having, well, they already removed some plants.
Yeah,
So, but the construction company, the Sunrise Trucking, was ready to move in like the next day.
yeah.
When we found that really the runoff, I would say, it didn't provide enough
Adequately,
safety for
yeah.
our students.
Right. Yeah, and
Say
it's,
runoff, you're not talking about water runoff.
No,
You're talking
actually
about-
if they run off on their motorcycle, that is correct. If they could not control the motorcycle, there needs to be, you know,
Did
the runoff
state
area.
guidelines change from the past? Because I would imagine WTCS would have looked at those guidelines when they established theirs.
WTCS has one set of guidelines, but then this motorcycle
for the state.
safety program has another set. They more or less double the WTCS. I mean, it hasn't been a problem in the past because for other colleges that we're aware of is because the street and the building hasn't been in play. We were trying to put it into an area that had that street and that building real close by. You know, at the Wisconsin Rapids campus, it's way out, on the campus, but there's no buildings around and no street around it. And this was trying to put it into a little bit tighter area.
Anecdotally, I took the motorcycle safety course here,
You did.
and for the whatever, at the final end testing or whatever, you take the motorcycle over a 4x4. You learn how to go over a 4x4.
Linnea wouldn't take that class with me. No, I'm not eating bugs.
I think it's so nice that we can still do motorcycle training at Marshfield, which is what we want to do, but we'll just have to do some revamping of our existing parking lot to be able to accommodate it.
I thought you were gonna say you needed that extra 40 feet of runoff there.
I thought that's
Never
what
know.
it was doing. Thank you, Greg.
Okay, with that being said, can I get approval on the consent agenda items, including payment of bills and payroll, contracted services and agreements, procurement of goods and services, and district board approval on hires, resignations, and contracted staff?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Angie, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Betty Brusky Malik.
Yes.
Kristen Krass.
Yes.
Richard Murden.
Yes.
Linnea Miller.
Yes.
Charles Spargo.
Yes.
Okay, then we'll move on to the chairperson's report. Welcome, everybody, to the meeting. Thank you for coming. This week, we have our Summer Boards Association meeting. That's going to be held right here in our Mid-State District. The in-service is going to focus on the presidential evaluations, and we're going to tour the Healthcare Simulation Center here in Wisconsin Rapids. Friday evening, we'll have a banquet at the Holiday Inn in Stevens Point, and we'll re-honor Wayne Bushman. Betty, Rick, Linnea, and myself plan to attend. The ACCT Leadership Congress will be held October 13th to the 16th in San Diego. The Congress will focus on advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion. Betty, Linnea, and Rick plan to attend that. San Diego. Let's see, tomorrow, looks like the WTCS have on their agenda to hopefully approve Craig and Gordon, which they should, for our board. Following the approval, Craig and Gordon will be reseated on our board for next month. Board appointment for the employee and the additional member positions will be held next week, Monday, and then will be forwarded to the WTCS for board approval for September, and then we'll be back to a full board. Our next meeting date will be held on August 16th. We will meet here at the Wisconsin Rapids campus. The committee of the whole will begin at 4:30 with the regular committee to follow after that. With that, we'll move on to the president's report, Dr. Shelley Mondyke.
Thank you, Kristen. Just a few things. Under campus activities, wanted everyone to know that the Mid-State Foundation had done a strategic planning session to really talk about how they want to move forward as far as goals in the next few years. So I think, Betty, thank you for participating in that. It was a very active and engaged group, and so I know their committees now will be meeting on the information that they gathered to be able to really put together their goals and their direction, and I'm sure that'll be something that Jill will bring you a copy of once everything is sorted out. This is the time of the year that you can imagine as a college, we're doing all the year-end things, everything from financial pieces to, you know, finishing up our enrollment for this past year. So just working on all that information, submitting information to our state office, and that way, hopefully in October, you'll be able to see our dashboard that will show all the numbers from this past year. Just a reminder that we do have our employee picnic on July 22nd, or excuse me, it is July 22nd, with the Rafters game, and I think, Rick, you were coming, and so thank you. You've heard me say we have over 300 people, I think, that are coming, so should be a great.
What time does the game start?
I want to say 7:05, but I'm going by my knowledge on that. But we have about 5:30, I think you come, Betty, and we have a picnic lunch, supper, and then, but if you can come at all, please let us know. Let us know.
We were there Saturday night. That was
Oh, you were.
great
It's a
game.
fun
That was a good game,
time.
yeah.
It really is. And I think rumor has it that I think Grit is going to make an appearance. Is that right? So Grit will be meeting Roscoe. So that'll be
new
kind of the
Roscoe.
new. Oh, is there a new Roscoe?
Yeah, he's less creepy than the old one.
The new and improved Roscoe.
Yes.
Okay. Not going to touch that one at all, Rick. Not going to go there. And then I'm really looking forward to the District Boards Association, you know, us being the host college this weekend. Thank you to Betty being on the executive committee and all she's done to make sure that our college continues to get the visibility. So I'm excited to be able to showcase the simulation center to the board members that are there. It will be nice for Wayne to have his family present to be able to kind of receive the award again and so forth. Just thank you, Betty, for making all of that happen. And then I'm just so proud to tell you that we have named our 2021 Distinguished Alumni for our college. And I'm happy to tell you that it is Linnea Miller. Yay! So, yes. It was really, you know, we get a group together and we, you know, have our criteria we look at and how a person represents our college to what they have accomplished and really what their mid-state education maybe meant to them. And this year it was just unanimous that it needed to be Linnea. So I think Linnea came in right before the board meeting where we were able to interview her and get some additional information so we can get working on that press release and all those things that come with being our distinguished alumni. So proud of you, Linnea. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. For the community involvement, just a couple things. Wanted to let you know on June 22nd, I was down in the Adams Friendship area and had a really great collaborative meeting with the Adams County Fire Chief along with the Town of Rome Fire Chief. Just talking about how we can continue to meet their needs as well. You may remember we had formed those great partnerships with the east side and the west side, and we have a great central here in Wisconsin Rapids. So just talking to them, not that we're going to do any big training complexes down there, but just talking about what do they need. And some of them have a little land, and could we put a training prop down there and so forth. So just good conversation that was held at our Adams campus. And then on June 30th, I'm hoping you may have seen this on the news. I think we're going to show you a clip that we were part of the Gamber Johnson ribbon cutting, which was part of the revitalization plan in Stevens Point. You had heard us mention that if we got to 5 million, maybe just a couple days before, we may actually make a public announcement. Bobby will tell you we got a verbal commitment, but really wasn't able to secure it all. So we decided not to do that. But I really need to thank Wayne, Channel 7, and we had Channel 7, Channel 9, and Channel 12 there. And very much talked about this Gamber Johnson project being kind of the phase one of what Sunrise Point or what Stevens Point Wayne Bushman is trying to to do. And we just got a lot of good press. So I can tell you, I was at a meeting today with a potential donor and then took another call at 2:00 today. And I think Bobby will tell you we have 2 big meetings tomorrow and just a lot of things that have even come since this aired. So just some really good press. So I think they want me, we're going to show you the clip, and unfortunately they picked the one with me. I'm sorry, everybody, but I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we'll go ahead and in case you had not.
The $5 million renovation would double the size of Gamber Johnson's current facility. It will also be used to give Mid-State Technical College students hands-on experience right in their backyard. It was a buzzing atmosphere and a day of delight for Stevens Point Manufacturing Company, Gamber Johnson.
We're really excited. We're just thrilled to be part of it.
They opened their new 140,000 square foot facility, allowing Gamber Johnson to expand and modernize for current employees and future ones.
The space was available. We saw a vision. We knew what we could do with respect to building out the space and having really a place be a showcase.
Gamber Johnson Manufacturing is partners with Mid-State Technical College. Wednesday's grand opening marks the halfway point of a 2-part project. Part 2 is building a 53,000 square foot advanced manufacturing and engineering center for students.
This is Mid-State's #1 capital project, is really to put up this 53,000 center to make sure that all of our employers can stay strong.
Mid-State needs $9 million to make that dream a reality and begin building by next fall. The partnership with Gamber Johnson brings students opportunities for apprenticeships, internships, and first-hand experience with the company.
We really thought it was a great opportunity to revitalize, and then being on the same campus with the future Advanced Manufacturing Center for Mid-States gives you kind of an additional synergy that really made this the right thing to do.
Now, Gamber Johnson plans to be fully moved into this facility by the end of July and begin production as soon as possible. Reporting in Stevens Point, Tony Langfellow, News Channel 7.
So it's right next to where?
Yeah, it's pretty much, we're almost kind of, they'll be kind of on one corner of the block and we'd be on the other. So, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's nice that people were able to make that tie with this project. And you had, the Wayne Bushman stood up and really talked about this was phase 1 and now our project could be phase 2.
But phase 1 is Gamber Johnson?
Yeah, so the building that was
So
renovated.
we are really
for-
public now then, essentially.
Kind of about the project, yes. No formal ask or anything like that, but yes, it's, and I think with having over 30 partners that have came on board, it's kind of becoming more public just because as people start talking. But this definitely brought it to light a little bit more. And the building that was renovated, I believe it was about $5 million, Bob, is that about right? That was put into this building for Gamber Johnson. So when they really talk about revitalization of a building that has been vacant, I think for more than 40 years. Because when Wayne got up there, he actually talked about how that building, he talked about the Wausau Mall. And if you remember the same week, that was when they were tearing down the Wausau Mall. And he was talking about how this building sat vacant for so long, over 40 years, but how it's being renovated and come to life, and it's a beautiful building. And so part of what Wayne does, he's an entrepreneur, is to try to renovate and make the community stronger. And so he very much talked about if he can help us do what we're trying to do, it just revitalizes the whole area. So yeah, definitely some neat things that are happening in the Stevens Point area. But we couldn't do it without the partners, that are going to allow that to happen. Under the WTCS updates, just wanted to let you know, in case you had not heard, that Fox Valley Technical College did name their new president, and it's Dr. Chris Matheny. And Chris was currently at Fox Valley in the vice president for academic role. So he would be a peer to our Deb Stencil. So congratulations to Chris. I think he's been at Fox Valley for 18 years. So he's a great guy. I'm sure he's going to do a wonderful job. And he will be taking on that role beginning August 1. And then for the WTCS President Association activities, just to let you know, I was on the president's executive call last Friday, preparing for tomorrow afternoon. We have the WTCS State Board meeting that begins at 4:30 tomorrow night, and then on Wednesday morning, and then we have our next President's Association meeting Wednesday afternoon. So that's what's kind of happening at that level. And that would be all that I have, Kristen, unless there's any questions.
Thanks, Shelby. Okay, we'll move on to the committee reports, and we'll go to the Finance and Infrastructure Committee meeting with Charles Spargo.
Okay, we've already dealt with the consent agenda items, and once a year, you get to hear very little from me. The treasurer's report is very short because we don't have financials yet in this month. We've got one item for approval and then one for information. So if Brad, you want to talk to us about the Stevens Point Campus Community Engagement Room Technology Project?
Yes, thank you, Chuck. For the past year during COVID, distance learning and instruction in our Stevens Point Campus Community Engagement Room was a challenge with the current technology in those rooms. Sorry. This was based on instructor feedback. To address this challenge and make the rooms more instructional friendly for students and participants, with an emphasis on continued flexible learning for students, Midstate developed an RFP to upgrade the technology in these rooms. To help develop the RFP and determine the best possible solution, a team representing multiple areas throughout the college was established. Members of the team included campus deans who had community engagement rooms at their campuses, members from the EDC, and IT members. Proposals for the RFP were evaluated using the following five criteria. 1, simplicity and functionality of the solution. This was the most important criteria. 2, cost. 3, references and experience portfolio. 4, project plan and timeline. And 5, demonstrations or presentations of their proposal. After reviewing the proposal and presentations, Brilliant Marketing's solution was chosen. Given this, we are seeking approval from the board to award RFP 801 to Brilliant Marketing's solution in the amount of $178,898. This project will be funded using COVID funds. And with that, I'll open it up to any questions that you might have.
How many qualified bids did you receive?
We received 3 of them.
There's the handout. Chuck, do you see that?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I didn't.
My
Oh, there
question,
is a accompanying
Oh, thank you.
document. I'm sorry.
the question is, Brilliant is the highest quote. Then they're the most
Right.
qualified then, because of it?
What tipped the balance towards Brilliant? Obviously, it wasn't price, right?
What tipped the balance there was the simplicity and functionality of the room. In that room, in addition to the technology and being able to make it seamless and easy to use, we also have to control the lighting and the shades. So the overall experience on what the end user would be utilizing that room was one of the top contributing factors of that. And Brilliant came forth with a solution that the team felt was the best out of the 3.
Can you repeat the 5 factors that were involved with your?
Sure. The first factor was simplicity and functionality of the solution. The second one was cost. The third one was experience and references in their portfolio. The fourth one was project plan and timeline. And the fifth was demonstrations or presentations of the proposal to our team.
And you assigned point values to each of these prior to the bid evaluation?
Correct.
Okay, and Brilliant was the top score?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you. I'd make a motion to approve RFP 801 to award the contract to Brilliant Marketing. Is there a second?
A second.
All right. And I can speak to the next item too. Oh, sorry.
Betty Bruschi Malik,
Yes.
Kristen Kress,
Yes.
Richard Murden,
Yes.
Linnea Miller,
Yes.
Charles Spargo.
Yes. The next item is shown
But
as
just as a
action.
comment, I think it would be helpful, in this case, I think we all had the question why the highest cost one, was chosen when that's all the data we have. In the future, it'd be good to have
The
those
categories.
5 categories across there, so it's.
With the point
it's clear.
evaluations, yeah.
Thank you. Rick.
The next item was listed as an action item, but it's really just informational. So Brad, you want to explain that for us?
Sure, thank you. As Chuck noted, the next item is related to the district office conference room and is for informational purposes, and we are not seeking board approval.
Because it's not necessary.
Correct. Some of you have utilized this room in the past, and we want to inform you that we are increasing the functionality of this room. During
This is the
COVID,
room right next to me. When you think of the district conference room, it is literally where my office is. It's the one where some of the finance committee,
Yeah.
that's the room that we're talking about.
Yeah.
So,
thank you, Shelley.
you're welcome.
During COVID, we found that the district office conference room did not function as well as it could have. This is a key conference room, and the need to connect to and better communicate with other campuses, businesses, and participants is necessary and became even more important during COVID. In order to meet these needs now and into the future, as well as ensure consistency across our conference rooms, we will be utilizing this solution from Brilliant Marketing Proposal and RFP 801 to expand the technology in this room, albeit on a smaller scale. The cost for this solution is $27,151.40. With that, I would open it up to any questions that you may have.
And normally we don't bring to you, the normal upgrades and things that we do, but we just thought this was a room that you utilize. And we just wanted to let you know that we're going to increase the functionality of it. So if you, for instance, we wanted to have a meeting with the campus deans, the equipment that we have in that room would not allow us to do that. So that's something pretty basic. Or if we ever had a larger incident and we all have to go to that room, which is where we say we're gonna, do some of our crisis management, we need to be able to have some of the capabilities to do that. And right now, it's really a room where we can show something, but it's not a room that we can connect, so.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Brad.
Okay, thank you.
Greg, any other informational items? Okay, thank you. That concludes Finance and Infrastructure Committee report.
Thank you, Chuck. Then we'll go ahead and move on to the Academic and Student Services Committee with Betty Brusky-Malik.
Dr. Deb Stenzel will give us information on new programming. And I guess we need approval on the information she's going to forward to us. There she is.
That's
Okay.
great. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Good evening. So the first item that I wanted to talk about is regarding new program that we would like your approval on. And this.
Okay, thank you. We currently have what we call our gas tungsten arc welding program, or GTAW program, also known as our stainless steel welding program that we offer in Marshfield. This program is currently embedded within our welding technical diploma program. This program prepares graduates for entry-level employment as a stainless steel welder, and it could be in production, construction, manufacturing, and in servicing industries. What we found is that because the program is embedded within the welding program, those students have to meet the program outcomes of the welding program, okay? What we found is those welding program outcomes aren't aligned with what they're learning and with the coursework that we have in stainless steel. So in order for us to continue that program, we really have to separate them. So what we're proposing to do is pull the stainless steel welding program out of the welding program. It will become its own technical diploma program. The program credits are the same. There are 3 2-credit courses, so it's a 6-credit program. By doing that, we will meet the American Welding Society standards for stainless as well as welding. So our students won't have any issues with being able to demonstrate those program outcomes when they're finished with the stainless steel program. We did get support from the WTCS Education Director to make this change, as well as the Welding Advisory Committee supported this change. So if we do get approval to make that change, we'll need to change the course titles and numbers so that there's not confusion between the courses. And we would work with the students so that if they've taken those courses in the past, we can substitute them in the welding program if in fact they want to move into the welding program. What we're finding is that most of them who go into that program really are looking for that very short-term credential and that specialty in stainless.
When would you make this available? When would it be available?
We have to receive your approval, and then we submit the program approval paperwork to the Wisconsin Technical College system. So it could be within, the fall semester, certainly by January.
So the welding program would not have the stainless incorporated.
That's right.
A smaller program.
Standalone.
Right.
So if people wanted both, they just have to do the welding first, then the stainless.
That's right. If they wanted this, the specialty of stainless, they would take the 6 credits, and then they could still take the welding technical diploma program. Mhm. Any other questions? Otherwise, I'm asking for your approval for us to unembed the GTAW technical diploma program from the welding technical diploma program.
And I'll second.
Any discussion? Angie, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Betty Bruschi Malik,
Yes.
Kristen Kress,
Yes.
Richard Murden,
Yes.
Linnea Miller,
Yes.
Charles Spargo.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much for that. The second item that I wanted to share with you is just to give you an update on where we're at with our nursing NCLEX pass rates. So the nursing program, as most of you know, I'm sure, is a very rigorous program, really at any college. And our graduates from the nursing program have to pass the NCLEX, which is the National Council Licensing Exam, in order to become considered a registered nurse. So we do monitor our NCLEX pass rates, and we always look at first-time test takers, because ideally we'd want our students to be able to pass that test on the first attempt. So we monitor this each year. We also compare our own students' NCLEX pass rates with the average in Wisconsin, as well as the average nationally for associate degree programs. And what we found is that mid-state nursing graduates consistently have higher NCLEX pass rates than Wisconsin and nationally. So we're very proud of that. And I know that we've come to you for some supportive resources for our nursing program and our health programs over the past year. So I thought you'd be interested in how we're doing. So for example, in 2019, the last year where we have complete data, 94% of our mid-state nursing graduates passed NCLEX on their first attempt, compared to 92% for Wisconsin and 85% nationally. So we do very well. We're very proud of that.
Jeff, do you know of the private institutions, is that data available?
They do it by type of program.
Okay.
So they do it by baccalaureate programs, by associate degree, by diploma programs.
Okay.
So, I mean, if we look specifically at the state, we could kind of drill down to see which programs are private and look at that.
Okay.
I can certainly get to
No,
that for you.
I'm just wondering if that was
Yeah.
available.
But that percentage, Deb, that includes the private scores
It
as
does.
well.
The 85 or
Yeah.
the
The
92?
92, that includes
Right.
all the privates.
Okay.
And then they do have on the website, you could actually if I use like Edgewood College, that would be private. Every
Yeah.
college is listed individually. So
Yeah.
from a person who may be a high school graduate saying, gosh, what nursing program do I want to go to? We always encourage, look at those NCLEX pass rates, because you want to go to a school that the graduates are able to pass.
That they're able to
and
pass,
so,
right.
I think the last time we looked, Deb, I could be off here a little bit, but I want to say there was around 40 nursing programs in the state, something like that, between 38,
Right.
42, something
Right.
like that. And, when we've talked about, I'm going to bring this up, and we haven't heard how we've done, but remember when we were the top 10 nursing program in the state, and we've had that a couple years, and we don't know where we are right now, but one of the factors that they look at is how your students do. So that's among the privates as well. So if you ever want to know specifically what is this college's NCLEX, we would be able to look that up for you.
It reminded me of speaking to a senior who was planning to go to a private institution, and I was like, gosh, you're going to be paying so much more and probably, less chance of passing on the first time,
Yeah, there is some, I can tell you for sure, Rick, there's definitely some differences from college to
monetarily
college.
and success-wise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there is that misconception as well, because every nursing graduate has to take the same NCLEX. So no matter which program you're taking the same. You're taking the same NCLEX exam. And you have to have that to get licensed.
Yeah, if you go to UW Eau Claire for their nursing program and you do that in 4 years, or you come to Midstate and do
Right.
it in 2 years, you're taking the same NCLEX. So that's exactly what Deb is speaking to.
Right.
So,
It'll be interesting too to see if the simulation center, after a couple of years, to see if that has an effect on that
Outcomes,
pass rate,
yes.
right?
Yeah, that's a great point, because I'm going to get into that a little bit.
Oh.
So I did look at our NCLEX pass rates in 2020, and based on 2020 versus 2019, our NCLEX pass rate increased to 95% from 94%, while nationally, the pass rate declined to 83%. So this rate does include students who were impacted by the COVID pandemic, which is something that, we're monitoring, right? How are our students doing from an outcome standpoint? We also know that we did a lot of things to support our nursing students, and really all of our students. But I remember reporting to you that we provided skills kits that they picked up and took home so they could practice at home. You approved the purchase of ATI, which provides a lot of resources for our students. So they had that, access to that, our increased flexibility, the use of simulation, right, to either replace or enhance their clinical experiences. So we were very intentional in making sure that we were doing everything we could to help the nursing students so that we could maintain those NCLEX pass rates. So we don't know the NCLEX pass rates for 2021. They won't be available for several months yet. But we are hearing that some of the nursing programs, specifically within the WTCS, are saying that they're worried that their NCLEX pass rates may decline because of the COVID pandemic. What we did, however, in May is we did offer our nursing graduates an opportunity to take an NCLEX review course right after graduation. So they took that 3-day course, and actually 76% of our graduating nursing students did take that course. So it's not something we could require. We offered it to them, encouraged them to take that, and we had pretty good results. So we'll continue to monitor those NCLEX pass rates, and we'll continue to offer supports, as best we can, because again, the goal at the end of the day is for them to get jobs, and in order to get that job in the nursing field, they need to pass the NCLEX, and the sooner the better. The studies say that if you take the NCLEX, you want to take that right after or very soon after you graduate, while that information is still fresh.
Was there a charge for that review course?
No, we use COVID funding.
Awesome.
Great.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Deb?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Then we'll go ahead and move on to the Human Resources and External Relations Committee with Lynn Ann Miller.
And we have Dr. Bobby Damrow giving us informational items on the Watt Grant Award update.
Make sure the mic's on, Bobby.
Good afternoon. So as Linnea said, this is an informational item. As you all know, annually, the 16 technical colleges within the system have the opportunity to partner with our local business and industry to create and write with them a workforce advancement training grant, which really is an offset to their training costs if they would like to partner with the college for that incumbent worker training. As you may recall, last year, we received 0 Watt grants. We submitted 3 and were not successful. We took a lot of time this year and retooled and strategized, and I'm just really happy to report to you that we wrote 7 and received 6. So I wanted to share with you the grants that we received, who we're partnering with, just as an informational piece. Part of the strategic plan that we're really working on is how do we support small and medium-sized businesses as well as large businesses. And you'll see and hear some of the folks that we wrote the Watt grants with. They are across the board from very small to some medium-sized businesses. And I think in the times of COVID and everything that these businesses have been going through, I think it's really great timing and a great result to put Midstate out there and use our resources to help them rebound and get that next, get their incumbent workforce and their next leadership group trained up. So the first Watt grant that we were successful in receiving was in a partnership with ERCO. And ERCO is looking to serve 78 of their employees. And this Watt grant is for $28,756. And what we'll be working on is 2 discrete areas of training, 1 leadership development and 2 safety training. So really excited to partner with ERCO over the next year and bringing training right down to them at their facility. The second Watt grant is with Americold. Americold is looking to train 20 people. That grant was $9,070. And again, 2 areas of training they're looking at, maintenance basics and welding fundamentals. The third Watt grant we wrote was with Marshfield Furniture over in Marshfield. It's a $9,400 Watt grant. That's going to serve 16 of their employees. And they're looking at, again, 2 areas of training. One is to work with skills in the upholstery industry. And second, they're looking at upskilling their entry-level staff into more mid-level responsibilities and skill sets. So we'll be working with them. The fourth Watt grant is with Carey Ingredients. Carey Ingredients is going to serve 10 people in their leadership at Carey. They have a new team. And they're looking to really do some DISC assessments to understand personality, strengths, weaknesses, the types of the individuals on their team, and then create some leadership training modules to help them create some synergies within their business.
Is it for the Vesper plant, the Rothschild plant?
The Vesper plant.
Vesper plant, okay.
Yes, sir. That was for $5,175. The fifth Watt grant is working with Compassus and the House of Dove, and they are expanding their nursing assistant role to medication aid training. So they have 8 employees that they would really like to upskill, so those nursing CNAs can actually be administrators. So that Watt grant, like I said, 8 people, $11,873 was approved. And then the final approved Watt grant was with the Wisconsin State Cranberry Growers Association. Particularly proud of this one because we're serving 4 different small businesses, well, 3 businesses and then the association. And when you look in your packet, your board packet of information that was provided through the news, they actually wrote a story about that, and you'll see that is in one of your informational pieces. So we have, like I said, 3 small businesses, one that just has a handful of employees, and then a few others. But as they come together, they're looking to actually upskill 24 of their incumbent workers. They're looking at 3 different areas: heavy equipment maintenance, digital marketing, and then some professional skills as they move through their leadership cycle. That Watt grant was for $7,500. The Watt grant that was not awarded to us was one that we wrote with a number of downtown Stevens Point businesses. And there was a request to really help those businesses in a multitude of training. And I think it was, when we kind of think about what we put together, I think it was just too much for one Watt grant to handle. So we'll be kind of circling back on that and trying to learn exactly how we can serve those industries. Some wanted marketing, some wanted Excel training. It was just a lot. So we're not giving up on that one yet. We're going to serve them in another way. So just kind of to summarize, we received 6 of the 7 grants. They are small to mid-sized businesses. And then the summary, we received $71,850 in match funds. What does that mean? It means that their training will be about a half price because we're able to apply that funds to their training. And we expect to train a minimum of 156 people through that. Once we get the training out there, we can bring more people in if they have more in their companies, and that's typically what happens. Last year, as I said, we received 0. So having this outcome has just been really a lot of excitement for the workforce division. Questions? Yes.
Other than where the name is self-explanatory, like Cranberry, can you tell me what some of the other companies are from the southern end of the district? I don't know what ERCO is or does, or some of the others.
Sure, and I may ask, some of you may know more, have worked in some of those places, but ERCO is a chemical plant and they actually, the chemicals that, as explained to me when we toured, they're actually used for a lot for de-icing. So for a lot of the airports, and you think about the airplanes, they create chemicals that help de-ice. Rick, do you have more that you know about ERCO?
Hydroxide, they're big, they take salt solutions, they bring in salts from Canada, and then they use electrolysis to separate it into oxygen and hydrogen, and then use those to create the sodium hydroxide, which is their primary product.
Okay, thank you.
Spoken like an engineer, thank you. Then Americold is on Highway 54, and you'll see and there's one actually, a smaller location here in town in Rapids, but they partner a lot with McCain. That's why their plant is located right nearby. So they do a lot of food storage. Yep.
Okay.
And let's see, Marshfield Furniture. Fantastic company over in Marshfield. Just recently we were able to tour there. High quality furniture, and what they manufacture everything on site. They have distribution throughout the United States. Their product is very robust, handmade. You can go there and pick any fabric, any cushion, any springs you want, and they will manufacture. Actually, they work, you can't go in and request that from the factory, but they have a factory outlet that's right next to their facility. Great product. Toured there, went back and bought a couch. So it kind of is like the real deal. My husband hopes that we don't keep doing those things. But hey.
Go to ERCO and buy some
I know, yeah. The next one is Carry Ingredients, which I think probably everyone is you're not familiar with them. Carry Ingredients, they have a number of plants, and they actually create different seasonings, different ingredients in large capacity that are sold to some of the other food manufacturers. Does anyone have any?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when you drive by, you kind of get that good smell. And thank you, Angie. The House of Dove, which is in our area, is a nursing home. So they're looking to really bring up their nursing home credentials by having their CNAs be able to administer the meds. Let's see, Wisconsin Cranberry Association. So yes, so that association with three smaller cranberry growers came together on that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else? All right.
Thank you.
you.
That concludes our report.
Okay, thank you, Linnea. Okay, earlier this evening, we had our committee of the whole meeting. With that being said, we went ahead and we need to appoint our board officers for the next year. So I'm going to call for nominations for the chairperson.
I nominate Kristen Krass.
I'll second that.
Motion to close nominations and cast unanimous ballot.
I'll second.
I need to call 3 times for
Right.
nominations. Are there any nominations? Are there any nominations? Are there any nominations?
Okay, now I'll move to close the nomination.
Okay,
Cast unanimous ballot.
I'll
Do we vote
second.
on each one or all together at the end?
nominations. Okay, so let's see. We have a second, right?
Yes,
Yep,
second.
We have to have a vote. Okay, can I get a roll call vote for that?
Yes.
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 Okay, so now I'll call for nominations for vice chair. Can
I'd
I
like
get a
to-
nomination?
I'd like to nominate Mr. Rick Merton.
Second?
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations?
That's 4 times.
Are there any other nominations? Awkward.
I move to close nominations, casting unanimous ballot for Rick Merton.
I'll second.
Okay, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes.
Kristen Kress.
Yes.
Richard Merton.
Yes.
Linnea Miller.
Yes.
Charles Spargo.
Yes.
Can I call for nominations for secretary?
I nominate Linnea Miller.
I'll second.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations?
I move to close nominations and cast unanimous ballot for our favorite, my favorite.
And I'll second that. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Betty Bruschi Malik.
Yes.
Kristen Kress.
Yes.
Richard Merton.
Yes.
Linnea Miller.
Yes.
Charles Spargo.
Yes.
Can I call for nominations for our treasurer?
I would like to nominate Charles Spargo, my favorite.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other
You get a
nominations?
second on.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Second.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Can I get a roll call vote?
We have to close them.
Betty, can
Oh,
you
I'm
close
sorry,
the-
close.
I move to close nominations and you can have a unanimous vote on Charles Spargo.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Now can I have a roll call vote?
Betty Bruschi Malik.
Yes.
Kristen Kress.
Yes.
Richard Merton.
Yes.
Linnea Miller.
Yes.
Charles Spargo.
Yes.
Great, thank you all. We have our officers for the next year. We also discussed as a committee, our board assignments for the next year and positions. For the Board Association. Oh, wait. Yep. And for the internal committee, it's going to be Linnea. The external committee is going to be Rick. Bylaws is going to be Betty and Chuck. And the awards committee is going to be Linnea and Chris.
I'm also on internal.
Oh, I'm sorry, and Betty is going to
Thank
be on
you.
the internal. And we also then discussed that our committees, our committees for the board and assignments, we're going to wait until August, September, until we're whole to decide who's going to be on our individual committees. Okay. Anything else we discussed that we want to talk about? I don't think so. Okay, discussion action items. We're going to have graduate placement with Dr. Mandy Lang.
Thank you, Kristen, and good evening, everyone.
Hello.
So the latest 2019-2020 graduate placement survey for Midstate and the WTCS is complete. You have at your seat a copy of the WTCS comprehensive report, and then also a few key highlights for Midstate. With a comparison to the WTCS and to last year. So overall, when we take a look at the comparison from 1920 to the year before, it's not too surprising that some of the numbers did decrease a little, really due to the pandemic. If you think through that year, of our 2020 graduates and the time that they graduated and then getting a job and finding a job, it's not too surprising that those numbers decreased a little bit. We are seeing some increases in salary though, so that's very positive. So when we take a look, total percent employed for Midstate, we're at 92% compared to 94% last year. And both of those are slightly higher than WTCS. And then kind of going down that sheet there, employed in a related occupation. And this one's important because it's part of our outcomes-based funding, the related occupation. With this year at 81% compared to 88% last year. Again, we are still higher than the WTCS as a whole. And employed in the district, we actually had a big jump here.
Yeah, is there a explanation there?
Well, I think COVID too, you know, because
Okay,
people weren't,
Stan.
people weren't moving around too much. There weren't a lot of necessarily jobs, that they were moving to, so they were trying to find jobs here in the area.
But it is kind of strange that the WTCS actually went down.
It did go down,
and
but
ours
we
went
went
up
up.
so much.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to watch in the future if that stays a trend that high or if we'll go back down a little bit. The median's annual salaries, as I had mentioned, for most of them, we are still slightly, and this is pretty consistent year over year, that we're slightly below the WTCS as a whole, except for short-term technical diplomas this past year. That one had a bit of an increase.
But that median did go up from 95% of WTCS up to 97.5% of WTCS.
For the
median annual salary associate degree.
For the associate degree,
Yeah.
yeah, we did go up. We went up in several of the salaries, just the WTCS ones also went up slightly.
Right, but the percentage wise,
Right.
right? We were 95% of that WTCS average, now we're 97.5%.
Yeah, so that's improving.
Moving on up.
Yeah.
To the east side.
That's good. And then percent satisfied or very satisfied, really no change for either us or the WTCS as a whole. Still at 98%, and the WTCS is at 97%. And then our response rate, just want to give a shout out to our institutional research team on this because they really do a great job in using innovative ways to get students to respond to the survey. 'Cause as you know, it's not always easy to get students to respond, but it's very important that we have the data. So they do a lot of work on this, and our response rate went up this last year to 75%, while the WTCS as a whole went down to 62%. So we're doing very well there. Yeah. So overall, still really positive, up in the 90% range. So 9 out of 10 graduates that are employed following graduation. That has continued to be one of our talking points, for Midstate and for the WTCS. So no change to that one. It's always good to have that steady at 9 out of 10.
For that metric, so is that 9 out of 10, what about somebody that's continuing in their education? Is that one of the 10, or is
No.
this just looking at those looking for a job?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're actually
What
pulled
their
out
ultimate goal
separately.
is.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, they let us know early on in the survey if
Their
they are
intention is.
looking for a job and available for employment.
Okay, thank you.
It's really important too, figuring out that intention.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Right.
yes.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Good job.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, I'll be looking for a motion for adjournment.
I so move.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Thank you.